There's this commercial we're watching right now. Um, supposedly this lady was announcing that God was coming down, from heaven, and he has the same face like Michelangelo, his picture, God and man touching like that, but God doesn't look like that. God doesn't have gray hairs and all that, and doesn't look like that, because the Bible teaches that God is spirit, and those who worship in spirit must worship in spirit and truth. And Jesus tells the disciples, no man has seen God and yet lived. He told that to Moses as well. Um, you can't see me and live, because if we see God in His whole glory, in His true glory, we'll drop dead. If He comes right now from heaven to this earth, we drop dead. All of us, are gone. It's over. Do you understand how powerful God is? So Autodesk, mocking God. I mean, Autodesk. I worked at it before. AutoCAD and everything, for design and everything. But anyways, the commercial was saying man, like God was surprised with everything that we're doing and everything, and like God didn't know, right? But He does know. He knows everything. He says in Psalms 139 that He knows our thoughts. He knows before what comes out of our mouth. He's omniscient. So we have to remember that God is not mocked. Like it says in Galatians chapter 6 verse 7, do not be deceived. God is not mocked, for a man's soul shall so reap. So all these commercials mocking God and everything, saying that they picture him like an old man. God is not an old man. And God is very powerful. But there we go. People just doing this, and then he was saying all the designs that we're doing, all the skyscrapers, and so there was a girl, on the bike, speeding, and she says, oh, "We are powerful." No, you're not. No, that's the same lie that Satan told Eve in the garden. You will become gods. She was actually acting like a god, and they were acting like gods and goddesses. It's going back to Eden. This is what was happening in the commercial. So, and all these things that are happening that like today is gonna get worse and worse and worse. I mean, they mocked the god in SNL, Saturday Night Live, mocked them in the Olympics. They mocked them, Jesus Christ, in that fair, over there in Brazil, and we know what happened, right? When you mock God, right? Things will happen. God will not stand around and people, making fun of His name, especially His name. So we have to be very careful with that. In these last days, people think it's okay, I could mock God, Oh no, you can't. Because I'm gonna read this. Pretty interesting. It says right here. Um, wrote this morning. It says, unless people repent of their sin, come to Jesus by faith, and believe what He finished upon the cross for the sin debt, taking the just punishment we all deserve upon Himself, His burial in a tomb, and resurrection on the third day in body form, and and put their faith and trust in Jesus for the salvation alone. There are no second chances after people die, and worse, their sin, debt, without Jesus Christ. There will be no mockery of Jesus Christ at the white throne judgment. And Judgment Day is over. It's over. There won't be no mockery. There is no purgatory, Roman Catholic. There is no reincarnation, my Buddhist friends and Hindu friends. There will be no. They will be lost for eternity, awaiting the great white throne judgment. It's game over. That's it. At the great white throne judgment, when the books are opened and the lost are judged by God through Jesus Christ for everything they did, good or bad, during their lifetime on earth. If their name isn't written or found in the Lamb's Book of Life, will be thrown into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone, where they will be quarantined for eternity. Everything will be exposed, even the secret things they did, and sins they thought nobody knew about. Well, you have to be careful. On Judgment Day, there will be no excuses, only silence. Because God sent His servants to share with them the gospel of Jesus Christ, probably 10,000 times or more times. They refused the message, mocked God, and rejected Jesus Christ, and even persecuted His servants. Now it's too late, and no, I am sorry, God. Will not work against God because the verdict will not be changed, and it's final. So I encourage you, unbelievers, who are listening to this message now, to repent and come to Jesus by faith, or it's too late. So that's all I got to say today. God bless you.